Dun, 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 dun. It's December, and this is the Windows Insider Webcast, and we are here all together once again. I'm super duper excited. As you can see, Brandon and Jen are here once again. Let's do the intros. Let's get that out of the way. But I also need to make sure that folks can hear us. So I'm going to take a moment. Can anybody in chat give us a quick thumbs up that the audio sounds good? Let's see here. Where is the video? Home. There we go. I'm clicking on the wrong screen on YouTube. That's kind of funny how that works. I gotta mute that so you don't actually hear any feedback. The mic is working. Hello, audio's great. Okay, good. All right, that means it is time for us to rock and roll. I will say this, as we attempt to do introductions, we are also attempting to launch a new build. So many of y'all have known from the course of time that we do this special bridge where we kick flights out the door and hit the big red button, if you remember that. We are currently in the process of kicking a build out the door for the beta channel. So it's really fun when we time them at the exact same time as the webcast, because then we have to like multitask and things get a little frazzled. So it just makes it super fun. So I'm attempting to not only talk with Jen and Brandon as we're launching the webcast, but we're also waiting on some initial data signals so that we can do all the announcements and all that kind of fun stuff. So
those things happen, Jason. We're waiting on you to do the tweet. The blog post is live. We just
okay, so I have permission to do. Okay,
yeah, the
Reddit
post is already live, Jason.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm clicking tweet. Tweet. Brandon, you're gonna love the gift that I picked for the day.
Uh-oh.
You're not gonna love it. You're not gonna love it at all.
Who's doing the flight bridge?
Oh.
That was Matt.
That's the other audio stream from the other bridge that we're both on. I think all three of us are on, but I can't even find... There we go. All right. I think the flight bridge actions are done, so now we can focus on doing the webcast. So, good times. Super duper fun. Thank you all for being here. If you're in the beta channel, you can check for updates. If you happen to be watching the webcast on a device that's running beta channel build, you can go ahead and download it, but you got to wait till after the webcast to install it. Hopefully, Anyway, we have some fantastic guests. No, go ahead, Jay.
Brandon and I have such serious faces on the web stream when we're trying to type. Yes.
It's serious business. It's super serious business. Yeah. Search. I'm super excited about today's topic. If you are in either the beta or the dev channel, you've likely seen some changes as of late. We have some fantastic guests here today to kind of talk through some of those things, as well as there's a really cool demo video that was put together. While we play that demo, just kind of a heads up, obviously we will kind of go off the scene while the video plays, so there will be a segment where this video plays and you won't hear us speaking kind of directly, but we will still be monitoring chat, kind of logging any questions that you have, things of that nature. So I know anytime we play the demo videos, we always get that, so I wanted to touch on that real quick. Additionally, once we cover that segment, we have something else to announce that actually I think goes live tomorrow, if I've got my dates right. Okay, so we will cover that. I don't want to spoil everything that we're going to talk about today, but Jen, Brandon, either of you have anything you wanted to touch on before we get rocking and rolling here? No? Okay.
Nope.
I'm just super excited because, it's close to the end of the year. We're kicking out flights. I got my Clippy sweater on. It's all good. All right. So without
why am I not wearing my Clippy sweater?
I don't know. Go get it.
You and Brandon always do these planning things together. I feel like I missed out.
I saw him put his on and I went and ran and grabbed mine. Mine was hanging in the closet. I just had a regular t-shirt on. You can get yours if you want. If you got it, go grab it.
No, it's too late. The moment is gone.
All right. Well, without further ado, allow me to bring our guests from Search up. Hello, welcome, good morning. How's it going? Is everybody on mute?
Hi, Jason. Thanks for having us here.
There you go. Caitlin, Mariah, thank you so much for being here today. I know in some of our kind of pre-chats about doing this, This is one of the things that's bad about me being me, as I like to fly by the seat of my pants and arranging things and organizing things. It works well for me, but it doesn't always work well for other folks. So, like me doing things last minute isn't necessarily the best way to plan things out. So I appreciate your gracious attendance, your willingness to come and hang out with us. And of course, you're covering one of the important areas of the OS that gets a lot of FaceTime with folks, because it is right there, very visible. And so there's always questions, and there's always something new to learn and explore. So, if I could, but you would take a moment, introduce yourselves. Like, I feel like I spoiled it a little bit, but the mic is yours. Caitlin, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Cortinia. I'm the PM lead for Windows Search Experiences. I've been at Microsoft for about 10 years now, and I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about search. We have so many exciting changes happening in the area, and we get so much great feedback from you all. So excited to talk to you more. Take it away, Mariah.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. Hello, everyone. My name's Mariah Moon, and I am a program manager on the Windows Search team. I've been at Microsoft for about 10 years as well. I worked on stuff like narrator and live captions that we released recently, and excited to talk with you all today about search experiences.
Excellent. Well, once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for making the time. I know that from a process perspective, and this is where I didn't even plan well enough. Do you want to jump straight into the demo? Are there things you wanted to talk about before we jump into that?
No, let's jump into the demo. What we want to show you here is some of the search experiences we're currently testing in the Insiders Dev channel, as well as just walk you through the journey that we took to get here. So go ahead and press play, Jason.
All right. And as a reminder for folks tuning in, while this demo video is playing, you will see the video. I believe Mariah has narrated it, so you will hear her kind of talking through it. We will be monitoring chat and taking note of the questions if any arise during this. If I remember, it's 5 or 6 minutes long, so somewhere in that neighborhood. So, if you don't hear us, that's totally fine. We'll be right back as soon as this video is done. And with that, give me just 1 second. I'll get it queued up, and then we'll be rolling along.
Hello, everyone. This is Mariah Moon on the Windows team, and I am so excited to show you the latest Windows Insider build. Today, I'm going to be taking you through some of the new Windows search experiences. When we first shipped Windows 11, we shipped the search icon, which is just down here on the taskbar. It's simplified. However, after shipping the search icon, we got some feedback that it just wasn't that discoverable. And so if you've been with us on this Windows Insider journey, you know that we have been trying out different search experiences. And so one of the things we have added into this Windows Insider build is a setting to switch between some of those options. So I'm going to right click and go into the taskbar settings. So in here, you will find a new combo box under personalization taskbar. And in here, you can switch to the search button. This was the second experience that we were trying out. And at this point, many people do have the search button on their computers. After shipping the search button, we heard two big pieces of feedback. The first is that some people wanted to be able to switch between their options, and we have added those options here in the combo box. And the second is that some people wanted to be able to type directly into the search box. And they just wanted to be able to type their queries right on the taskbar. And so we have added a search box that you can type directly into. So I can go ahead and switch my setting now. All right, so I'm so excited to show you the new search box. This is new in the Windows Insider build. And now that I have it up, let me just try it out. So I can type in here. I can search for example, some of the documents that are on my computer. So demo for insiders. So I have a demo script on here. So this is just showing some of the documents that are on my computer. I can also search for things like weather in Seattle. I'm in Seattle right now. Right now it is actually partly cloudy. Not too bad for Seattle. So that's a little bit for the search box. And In addition to adding the setting and the search box, I'll talk a little bit about search highlights. So search highlights is something that helps you discover what's happening today. And what's kind of fun this week is that it's Computer Science Education Week, which is great. And so this just kind of helps you stay connected with what's happening today. If I click into the box, you'll see the search highlight content, helps you engage just with what's going on today. Fun way to stay connected. And so in addition to having a setting to turn on and off search highlights, we have also been working on integrating search highlights into all of the different modes within Windows 11. And in particular, we have added search highlights to focus, or when you put your computer into a focus session. So I'm going to come up here and I will type in focus. Focus is kind of a new mode that was added in Windows 11 to help people focus. So I'm going to put my computer into a focus session. And when I do that, it's going to quiet down the taskbar, help me focus. And what you'll see is the search highlights will be removed from the taskbar. And when I come out of the focus session, the search highlights will be returned. So let me come in here. I'll start a focus session. You'll see the search highlights be removed. I will open the clock app opens, and this is a timer that's going to tick down. And when I stop my focus session, my search highlights will come back. So that's a little bit about focus, or putting my computer into focus. And the last thing I will talk through today is just some of the personalization themes. So if I type in theme here, the search box, as well as all of the different search settings, respect the different personalization themes within Windows. So if I pick a theme that's like, for example, a dark theme, this glow theme, which I love, what you will see is the search box respecting those colors. You'll see some of the transparency coming through. So just a beautiful search box to be able to work with. So this is the newest Windows Insider build. The two big new things in here are the setting to be able to switch between the search options, as well as the search box that you can type directly into. We are so excited to get your feedback. We'd love to hear what's working, which search mode you'd like to use. And thank you for tuning in, and we're excited to get your feedback. Thank you.
All right. That was pretty awesome. I love watching the actual Windows product in action. One of the interesting things that I have found, both between webcasts and then just talking with insiders over the course of time, is each of us uses Windows in a very specific way. You do things to kind of accomplish your daily task, and you have your habits of where do you click to find things and how do you navigate and whatnot. So when I see other people using the operating system and they launch something or select something in a different way than I do it, I was like, oh, sometimes it's things I didn't know. Sometimes it's I know about it and I have just prefer to do it a different way. And so anytime I get exposed to this type of information, like it always brings about something new, of a new way for me to either learn something or do something. So it's always fun. Like I said, it's really fun seeing this kind of in action. Let me ask you, I got one really funny question for you. Did you get that all done in one take? Like, that was really, really smooth. I would have had to re-record that probably 5 or 10 times, especially with it being that long. So how did you pull that off?
I can take that question. So I did a couple recordings, but that was just one take. So great question.
That is awesome. Well done. Well done. Oh, goodness. Somebody just mentioned that it looks like you're on a team call. Jen, your background is working.
I love these backgrounds. Sorry, they're available online. You can find them.
So, as very likely as expected, there were some questions that popped in along the way. So one of the questions is the pill design. So the kind of oval shape. How did that design originate? Kind of historically, search boxes have either tended to be kind of rectangular, either really long or short, or whatever the design was. Kind of where did the pill design come from, and how did that make it as one of the options that insiders can select from?
think this was the start of just us trying to get more fast iterative learnings. Like, this was a great way for us to get the feedback that we need search to be more discoverable. Let's, instead of over investing and taking a long time to get a bigger editable search box out on first go, let's start by heading in that direction, get some feedback from our insiders, then move to retail, get some feedback from retail, and make sure we're heading in the right direction before we continue investing. So we did that. Like, this was a great way to get something out quickly. And we heard from you, like, this was more discoverable. Mm-hmm. But it needed some more user options. It needed the ability to edit. So we continued investing here, as you're seeing with what we've recently set out to web.
Awesome. Another question, and this was kind of an interesting one that kind of came out of left field. And I'm not trying to spoil anything. I don't know what you have up your sleeve for the future, and I'm not trying to get you in trouble by asking any of that. So if I happen to be knocking on that door, just tell me to be like, buzz up. One of the questions is will there potentially, given some of the customization that appears within the OS now, you have the search option down in the taskbar, is it going to be possible to potentially relocate it somewhere else, such as having a search bar across the top of the screen? I think this is kind of reminiscent of some changes you've seen in other OSs as of late, and I think people are looking for some of that flexibility.
It's great to know that flexibility is something people really care about. And it's definitely something we're keeping in mind, but we can't tell you everything about what's coming.
I definitely don't want to get you in trouble.
I feel like every single webcast we've ever had, you say, I don't want to get you in trouble, but...
Now you're getting me in trouble. Let's see here. Folks want to see rounded corners of the full... so for folks that have the full search bar, have you received any feedback about rounding those corners?
That's a great question. You will have to see what's coming up in future whip builds. We have definitely heard that feedback and do love that modern look direction. Excellent.
Let's see here. That's why I'm staring off into space as I'm over here looking at questions to see what's come up over the course of time.
I saw someone say that it was flashing in the dev channel in dark theme. I'm pretty sure we took a look at that feedback. What even day is it? So it must be last week. And I was told there's a fix in the pipe, theoretically, for that one. But yeah, please keep sharing your feedback as you are trying out the changes. And we do look at it all. I know we say that every webcast, but...
For sure. There's some comments in here about just general excitement about search being on the taskbar. Folks like having it there instead of going and hunting for it or having to access something else to then get to there to navigate. Let's see here. Yep, I'd see the comment that you were just referencing, Jen. And then let's see what else is in here. Excitement about feedback. Let's see here. Windows is better than Mac.
Yeah. If we are talking about discoverability, it's not one of the new changes, but like one of my favorite things to do with search is like do quick math or translations or getting the weather in different places or getting the time zone conversions. I use search all the time for that stuff. To the fact, I think probably my search history is a little embarrassing for some of the weird math that I should be able to do in my head but don't. But
it is great for that kind of stuff. I also find myself using it more and more with the box there. Like, I definitely find I get those quick little questions in my head, and the box helps me remember, oh, this is an option I can use, and it's just helping me be productive faster.
So if I don't know all of the capabilities of search, what are some of the things that I should go and try out?
Who's that a question for?
Either Caitlin or Mariah.
I've actually been loving the search highlights lately, especially with the latest changes that Mariah mentioned in the demo that make the design a little more coherent with the rest of Windows 11.
Mhm.
I get really excited every day when I see the gleam on my taskbar. Ooh, what is that? And what new thing can I learn about today? So that's been, and as Mariah said in the demo, Computer Science Week today was an interesting thing I didn't know.
I have to say that is one of my favorite features, search highlights. Every day I come into my computer, I now open my search box to see what is today, like what are we celebrating, what is like new
Right?
factoid. Like it's such a great way to start the day. So like I really have become accustomed to that. And then seeing the gleam in the search box on the taskbar also reminds me to check. So I Caitlin, I agree. I love that so much.
Yeah, like I think it was over the weekend that it was National Cookie Day, maybe. Like,
Oh yeah.
that would have been a celebration that I would have missed had search highlights not told me that.
Guess what? I did miss it, but I probably had a cookie anyway, unintentionally. Let's see here. Any other stuff that has come in? We got some random questions about whip builds, but we will hold those for later. There's a question about expanding tips on how to use Windows Search that was introduced in recent dev builds. Yeah. I think we've zipped through all of them, which is a great thing, because sometimes if we don't have a ton of technical questions, that means that the feature actually works like it's supposed to. And I think with the demo showing the people the options that they have, and now that they know where to go and do that, I think it's fantastic.
We just got actually a question that came through from Sean Keane about asking about. It's actually really cool feedback. Asking about recent searches returning to the search box on hover, and so that's interesting feedback that I think Caitlin, Mariah, we should take to the team, because that's actually kind of cool feedback.
Yeah, that is interesting. We'll definitely take that back. Thanks.
So one of the things that we always do as we talk about a topic is cover the area for which folks should submit feedback to. So I'm actually pulling up the feedback hub right now, because with as many areas that are in there, I don't quite have them memorized. But here you go. For anybody who has feedback, whether you discover a bug or if you have suggestions, such as what was just recommended by Sean, there's the two drop downs in Feedback Hub, so the category field and then the context field. So under category, it would be desktop environment, and the context would be search. And I will take a moment and type this in chat so folks have it for future reference, for those of you that are watching this either live or after the fact. So Feedback Hub, it is desktop environment, and then search.
It's important to note too, like if you're having search issues, please be as descriptive as possible about what the issue is. For example, like if search isn't working, that can mean a lot of different things. And especially like we look at all the feedback where you search for something and the thing you were searching for either didn't get returned or didn't get returned as the top result. And specifically, if it's an app or if it's a file, like the search for those works sort of differently, and settings as well. Like the search works sort of differently, and we try to improve all of them. But the more descriptive you can be about where the result didn't match your expectation, the better we can help improve your experience.
Yes, plus one to what Jen just said. Improving search results is definitely an area we're looking at, and we're flighting some early changes. I'm especially excited about some changes that we're flighting to improve settings results that are returned. We're still in the early stages and only rolled out to a small percentage of users, so we will definitely be reaching out to you all for feedback as time goes on. But like Jen said, the more description you can give us, the better we're able to make changes in this area and make improvements.
Yeah, and one thing I'll just add on is, and this goes for any feedback, but especially in this particular area, if you're able to, when filing feedback, include screenshots, right? The screen grab of especially what your search keyword or keywords, plural, what those happen to have been, and then kind of, the resulting kind of the search results that showed up. And then, like you guys mentioned, if it didn't quite match what you were looking for, include some context on where it was, what you expected to find, and having some of that visual side-by-side reference between what you typed and what you received and what you wanted. Those three things coming together kind of actually help in the development process to make sure that we're improving and making sure that the results that come back are relevant to what you're looking for at any given point in time.
Raphael just asked if we triage the feedback in the feedback hub, and the answer is yes. We have an ongoing chat where we look at all the trending feedback and discuss it and review it and whatnot. And as said, more actionable is more helpful if possible, but we do look at all the incoming comments.
Brandon is powerhousing through these chat comments. Thank you, Brandon. I feel like I'm zipping back and forth trying to look and talk.
I aim to please. And I'm trying to do it with a smile on my face.
I'm trying to remember, was it Windows 11? So Windows has had, when you search for certain apps, we will also include common typos. Like if you make a typo in PowerPoint, it should still find PowerPoint, which is really handy. But I thought with Windows 11 22H2, do we now do that for settings results as well? I don't remember if that was only within the settings app or if you do it from the search bar as well too. Do you remember, Caitlin?
We need to double click on that one, but we can get back to people.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we've covered just about all the questions that at least that I've seen, or I know Brandon's been kind of tackling a bunch of those in chat as well. So they seems to have slowed. So with that, Mariah and Caitlin, I will say, any other things, any parting words of wisdom you'd like to share as we wrap up on this segment?
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
It's been fun to share what's going on in search, and of course, it's fun to hear more live feedback. So thank you. Yeah,
no doubt. Like I really wasn't trying to get y'all in trouble earlier, so if I kind of peeked behind the door I shouldn't have, I sincerely apologize. But I know that y'all have a lot of really cool things coming up. I'm excited to see them. I know insiders are excited to see them. Can't wait. I know you'll be coordinating with Brandon. We'll have it in the blog post. We'll make all the announcements as things become available. And then kind of as this continues to evolve in the future, we'd love to have you back as you've got some more things that are rolling out. We can do another segment, maybe another demo video or whatnot, and help drive some additional awareness about these changes as they kind of make their way into the hands of folks externally.
That'd be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I'm sure there will be some other questions that'll pop up. We'll capture those and kind of bring them back to you after the fact. We'll do one of two things like we always do. We'll either answer them on Twitter or potentially we can create an answers forum thread and answer them there. So don't worry, insiders. We'll cover the other questions if you have things that arise later on. Again, thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Mariah. And with that, we will transfer over to the next segment. And this one, Jen and Brandon, it's that time of year. It's that time in the development cycle, and
holiday season.
Yeah, well, that's always super fun. We kicked off a build. We've talked about search. Now let's talk about the bug bash.
Well, you didn't introduce it first.
So guess what?
The blog post. And hopefully they were watching to us. They were watching us in the webcast and not reading the blog post. Multitasking.
Yeah. Well, I noticed in chat there was a few folks that said they'd already rebooted to go and take the update and whatnot. As part of today's blog announcement, hopefully you read the note about the bug bash. I'm actually going to take a moment and pull up the blog post. /webbash. What's really funny is we've done these so many times, I actually have the pattern for the blog post short URLs mentioned. And here we go. So I do want to take a moment. I'll just call this out on air, even though it's in the blog post itself. For those who may not have read the blog post as they're watching this video. the December 2022 Bug Bash is kicking off. It covers both the dev and beta channels this time around. The Bug Bash runs now through the end of the day on December the 12th.
Tomorrow.
Sorry, it starts tomorrow. Thank you for the clarification. It starts tomorrow and runs through the end of the day Pacific time on December the 12th. So if you are in other time zones, you have a little extra time kind of leading into that. As I mentioned, this does cover both dev and beta. So for anybody who is running either of those builds, check that out. And of course, one of the really cool things that I love about Bug Bash is the slew of quests that always show up in the feedback hub. So there's going to be a lot of things that will be covered both for current features that have received some updates, as well as some new things that will be popping in some of the recent builds. So if there's things that you either haven't caught up from the blog posts or potentially some new features that you haven't taken the time to try out, this is always a great opportunity to come together, run through those quests, learn a thing or two about the OS and some of the changes that have arrived, and then, of course, brush up on your knowledge of Windows overall.
And for what it's worth, you don't have to stick to the quests in the feedback hub. Those are just sort of suggestions. I mean, it's just sort of an opportunity to take a look more closely at the things that we've been working on and let us know your thoughts about them. I think we mentioned this before, but whenever we do a Bug Bash, there's an internal competition about it as well. And we get really competitive sometimes. I always win. We have multiple categories.
Yep. Yeah, Bug Bashes these concerted efforts are always a lot of fun because it's really, Jen is not kidding about the competitive nature of folks internally. Between discovering bugs, filing feedback, triaging feedback, all of this, it all comes together kind of in these big culminations where, in addition to triaging and attending to bugs kind of over the course of time, right? These big moments where we take a moment and like, okay, what all have we not caught? Have there been things that haven't yet been reported? We've added, new things since, previous builds and whatnot. What all can we go through and dig into at this given moment in time? And these particular moments, they create a lot of excitement. And I really got to say, like, one of the things that helps me a lot because of the number of changes in the OS. Well, I get to keep up with most of them because of the coordination between the feature teams and the communications and the blog posts. Hopefully, as Windows Insiders, you're out there reading the blog posts when we publish those for the new builds. The quests help me go through and follow some of the processes, right? So if you haven't spent a lot of time doing quests in the past, they tend to be prescriptive on, click this, do this, kind of walk through the different steps, not only so that you can become familiar with the feature if you haven't used it before, but it helps highlight some of those changes, as I mentioned before, so that you can see what is actually different in that particular feature. And then, of course, in the feedback hub, once you've run through some of those quests, you'll have the opportunity to provide feedback, potentially if you've hit a bug or if you have a suggestion, either for something that you saw and liked and wanted to tell us thanks for, or if you have a suggestion on, hey, here's a potential way of doing it differently, or whatever the case may be. Again, bugs and suggestions alike, please do submit those along the way.
Yep.
Right on. Good stuff.
Is this the time you get to talk about new features? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there are questions about dev channel build, and while we're not announcing a new build today, it is still Tuesday. So for those in the dev channel wanting and hungry for a new build, don't worry, we're working on it. And hopefully we'll still have something this week. It just may be a little bit later in the week. So
nope. It's we still have those quality hops that we jump through, and we're working some magic behind the scenes, trying to get some good things done. So stay tuned. Jen, you were saying something about features, if I recall correctly.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking, like, if we're doing the Bug Bash and talking about take this opportunity to try out new features, like we usually do a round table, right? Like, what's one of your favorite things that we just released recently for people to try? Like a pop quiz.
Like, I'm going to feel like I'm cheating in saying this, and it's silly, but I don't mean it to sound like I'm cheating. Having the option to toggle the search experience, it's actually pretty cool. because of the variety of the way people like to interact and the things that folks like to see. And I realized that the taskbar space is very personal, right? Having that option and the ability to make those changes, it goes a long way. So I'm actually super glad that we had the opportunity to cover that today and to share the ability to make those changes, because it gives people that little bit of personal touch in that particular space. And especially so because it's like forefront, right? You know, the taskbar start menu is so integral to just the general user experience of Windows, that, you know, having that little bit of dynamic in that space, it really goes a long way.
How about you, Brandon?
What was the question?
Brandon is multitasking like crazy. He's got his serious face on.
What is one of your favorite new things that you think people should go check out in the builds?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's just there's a lot of. I mean, for me, I've been spending a lot of time with my Surface Pro 9, so I've been using the tablet or touch optimized taskbar experience. So I really enjoy that. That's really been making my life so much awesomer. You know, holding my Surface Pro 9 as a tablet, especially when I'm like reading. I'm reading a lot of comics and things like that. So I really like that and the touch gestures. So I've been spending a lot of time in the evenings doing that. I think the new energy recommendations that we shipped are also pretty cool. So I've been making sure that I go through those on my PC. So try that out.
I feel so bad about that. I always like, you should lower your brightness. I'm like, I need all the light.
No, I mean I've enabled all of them, and I've been it's pretty rad how that works. So really thought that was really neat. So yeah, those are kind of the things that I've been personally focusing on. Really, is just the touch stuff, and so yeah.
Let's see for me. I guess, I mean, I love every improvement made based on feedback, but one of the little things that made me really happy recently was in the dev channel. If you connect to VPN, and I think it does have to be a VPN that settings recognizes, which is not all third-party VPN apps, but like if you connect to VPN, overlaid on the network icon in the taskbar, it now shows a little badge to show that you're connected to VPN. And like the number of times, because I have to connect to VPN to access certain work resources, and the number of times I'm like, why can't I access this page? I don't have VPN connected. And it's now just so easy to just glance and be like, yes, I need to do that.
I'm gonna throw this in here real quick because it's absolutely hilarious. Like for some of the data queries that we run, you know, as we're trying to pull information or whatnot, VPN is required. And I'm not even kidding. Quite literally this morning, I pulled up one of my scripts, went to run the data query, and it's like, can't do it. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what's the? I did this yesterday. It worked just fine. And of course, you know, it wasn't DNS. It was VPN because I just hadn't connected VPN. As soon as I connected VPN,
I thought it was always DNS.
Well, in this case, it was user error because I didn't connect to VPN. And I should have noticed because I didn't have the icon sitting on my network flag down there. But the really cool thing is, and this is one of those little kind of, we talk about, you know, how Windows 11 has brought a lot of those personalization and those finer user touches, right? And Brandon, I think you had this in the blog post. The icon, the little VPN icon that gets the overlay, it's actually done in your system color, which is really cool. Like, that's just fancy. Like, that's taking it to those are those small touches that make so much of a difference in how the OS looks and feels along the way. So to all the folks that worked on that we haven't had on the webcast, thank you for paying attention to those little details because that means a lot. Anything else? Like, I feel like we kind of zipped through this month's content, right? We wanted to kick a build out the door. We covered the search content. We got a lot of great questions. We got a few takeaways. We kicked off the announcement about the bug bash, which again, thank you once again, Jen. It starts tomorrow, not today. So don't jump the gun on that one. It starts tomorrow, and then hopefully we're able to get a dev build out this week, and I'm sure we'll make mention of it in that blog post again. Maybe I'm committing Brandon to that, but
we will.
Okay.
We will. It's already there in the draft that we have.
Okay, excellent. Sorry, I was hoping I wasn't like breaking you into jail over here. Yeah.
If you are in the beta channel, and you haven't installed the latest update because you are watching our webcast like a dedicated insider, I would recommend installing that update as soon as you can. It has some really good fixes in it, it includes the fix for a GDI handle leak, which was caused by notifications in the beta channel. GDI handle leaks, if you're not familiar with them, it basically over time, the bigger the leak gets, it causes UI issues and potentially an Explorer crash. That should be fixed. Theoretically, this one actually for real fixes the crash we were having in safe mode in the beta channel, as well as fixes the issue we were having with auto hiding the taskbar in recent builds too. So a lot of good stuff. You should have a better experience once you have that installed, and keep giving feedback.
I was about to say, this is all feedback in action, right? There's it is quite literally impossible for us to cover the entire OS in the validation work that we do internally before we ship. And that's one of the things that we love about kind of insiders as a whole is all the nooks and crannies that folks seem to kind of dig into. And kind of as I mentioned at the beginning of the webcast, right? We all use the OS in slightly different ways. There's common touch points and entry points that we use, but each of us uses the OS in a way that's kind of personal to us. And there's a lot of things that get kind of touched by different folks in different places. And then, of course, you go through everything from regional support and language support, use of accessibility features and all that. You just kind of add all these layers into the overall experience. And that's what makes the Insider program great, is all of this feedback that comes in so we can keep making it better along the way. Jen, Brandon, I know it's a little bit early, but unless there are any objections, I say we wrap this thing and look forward to the next webcast. Yep. We will, of course, announce it in the Windows Insider newsletter. So if you haven't been paying attention for those, please do. They should show up in your mail on a monthly cadence. Make sure they're not showing up in your filtered folders or anything. We want to make sure that you have not only the announcement for the webcast, but we also include great tips and tricks about the OS, as well as important program announcements and updates along the way. So do stay tuned for those. And you can always follow us on Twitter at Windows Insider. If you're on Reddit, Jen, what is the group on Reddit that I know there's tons of people that pour into? There's a few of them, right?
There's our Windows 11, and then there's our Windows Insiders, and there's a few others. But
awesome. So check us out there as well. And then if you happen to be on the Microsoft Answers forum at answers.microsoft.com, go click on the Windows Insider segment and then pop in there as well. You'll find lots of like more in-depth troubleshooting, questions and answers, and we also make announcements in that space as well. So lots of places to find us, lots of good information. And of course, if you have questions along the way, feel free to hit us up at any point in time via any of those touch points. We're happy to interact and answer whatever you may need. But with that, we will wrap up. We look forward to the next edition of the webcast. We look forward to seeing you once again. Happy holidays wherever you may be in the world and however you may celebrate. And thank you again for tuning in. And for those of you that are tuning in on the video kind of after the fact, we wish you all the same, and we hope to see you kind of real time on a future webcast if you're able to attend. Brandon, Jen, thank you as always.